Okay, we're live. The last time I was here, I earnestly don't even really remember what I did. Um, Hold up, I need to connect my Bluetooth things. What did I do? Zod. I connected Zod to the client side. Right, right. And then today, or the next thing that I wanted to do was create a monorepo. Wow, 8 days ago. I need to find ways to do this more regularly. Because I mean, it's something I'm building for my own use in the future. So hopefully I can do some of these projects by using some of this a glued together framework that I'm gluing here. So I wanted to create a monorepo from the from separate repos. Doesn't make sense. Yeah, monorepo from the actual same repo, but I want to make it a true monorepo from a JavaScript sense. Okay, let's go. The, the, the essence of XML is this: the problem it solves is not hard, and it does not solve the problem well. Wow, that's harsh, but funny. That's great. All right, so what's the situation? The situation I have here is here's my repo. It's not a separate repo; it's just one repo, and it has multiple different projects in it. So the backend has its own yarn.lock. The front end has its own yarn.lock. And now I want to create a shared module here, but now, like I said, I don't want it to have its own yarn.lock and everything. I want to create a mono repo as one would. So what I want to do with this is use yarn2 monorepo facility. I was hoping I would see workspaces. That's really what I wanted to search for. This document covers mono versus yarn for one. Okay, so I do want to use yarn 2, and there's a particular reason for it, which is I don't want to hoist. And hoisting is, let's see, maybe I can demo that. So yarn 2 workspaces hoisting, no hoist. Is this a good description of it? Right. I don't know if any one of these are an easy way to explain what's happening, but effectively when you create a monorepo, for example here, okay, while I do have a node modules here, it's probably an error. It's empty, so let me remove this. So in my main directory for this so-called monorepo, I don't have any node modules. But if it was a proper monorepo, if I did yarn install, the node modules would show up here in, like, there'd be a folder node modules here, and the node modules for the backend and front end and shared would still pop into node modules here. And that's where they would be, and so they get essentially hoisted up to the main directory. However, in some projects, this causes issues. So there's the no hoist feature in that case, where we could say, okay, hey, you know what? I don't want to hoist anything under this or what have you. Or I don't want to hoist React Native because I need it. Some projects depend on the node modules being on the main folder for that project. So I actually don't want any hoisting at all. And conveniently, I mean, maybe I don't need to no hoist, but whatever. That's fine. I want to use Yarn 2's workspaces, and I might not disable hoisting. If everything works, what do I care, right? And so that just is the way that is. Let's see if we can get anything at all working. So Yarn workspaces. So in package.json, I need a workspaces. I thought you defined like, well, let's see. This is not very helpful, like how to declare a work tree. Special, they must declare workspaces field. If you want all the folders within the packages, just add packages star. I was really hoping that they'd give me an example, which is a shame. Work trees are required to be private. True in their package.json. This requirement got removed with the 2.0 release in order to help standalone projects to progressively adopt workspaces. Used to be required. Okay. That's fine. Really did want some kind of an example, which is a shame. That's fine. Okay, well, let's just see if I can find something. Yarn 2 workspaces example. Same page I was on, which does not have an example. Okay, this will probably be good. I think I have this. Look at that. It makes the text larger. It's from, oh, and I guess this is the alt text. I think I turned on some accessibility features. Zooming, for example. Well, look at that. And then this this highlighting, enlarging of text, although I don't really need this, so I should turn this off. Okay. That's all I wanted. Like I knew this. I just put this in here. I can scan a page, and if I just see this as an example, I know, like, that's it. I don't know why it had to be so hard. Okay. It's kind of dirty. Like, I do have to do this every time. Pretty sure I can still do a yarn inside a project. Okay. All right. So that's really all I need, and I can just describe packages as well. So I think that should be fine. And this is where it'd be like there's a top level package.json, and then each individual package has a thing as well. But that's cool. So I guess I could do it this way, and everything can be top level. Who cares? I don't really need a packages folder, so I don't need to do a git move if I don't want to. And earnestly, that just works just fine by me. Okay. Can I do yarn init? Yep. Okay, I have a package.json, and we're going to add workspaces. And then we'll say server and UI. So in our case, we'll say backend, front end for now. And then we'll say shared once we have something there. So these are our workspaces. I do need to upgrade Yarn, so I install Yarn 2. Huh. Okay, I didn't know this. Anytime you want to update Yarn. Okay, I mean, let me see what happens if I do that. So let me just get rid of this package.json and just do a yarn init-2. I don't know if I need the core stuff. So it is getting, oh, yarn 3. Jeez. Oh me, oh my. Okay. And what has this done? It has added a bunch of files. Let's take a look. Added a config. You don't, why? Why does it have that .yarn folder with a file in there that when I pressed into it has locked up my Vim install? There it is. Probably too large. Okay, no problem. Let's go back. Sorry, that was a folder I should have known. A yarn.rc with just the yarn path. And what would happen here is what would happen here is that if I wanted more features or if I wanted to toggle things, for example, if I wanted to disable hoisting, I would do that here. A readme? What is that? Okay, packaged, which is really light. Huh. No version, nothing, and a yarn.lock that is empty. Okay, let's go workspaces here. Why is this happening? Okay. And I'll go backend. Whoops. Backend. Oh, that's because I opened. It's happening for my buffer autocomplete. It's because I opened that huge file. Let me just get out of here and backend and front end. Okay, cool. Oh, wow. Okay, cool. What am I doing? And here, I mean, I think I should just be able to yarn now. And it should give me like a huge yarn.lock file. Then I add a proper shared thing, and I guess I'm good to go. I didn't even know that yarn updated to 3. And this is like one huge npm install. Okay. 43 seconds. Okay, not bad. And now we should have like this one large yarn.lock file with all our packages. So for example, I'd have Vue and Vue use here and everything else, Vue router. And it also have Express and all that stuff from the back end. Fascinating. Cool. This is actually literally the back end, like the packages in my backend. Okay, cool. Then I can go, I presume I can go up into the backend here and remove, I guess I could do git rem here. and here. Now, if I was being, very strict about it, I think I'd have to preserve my versions from the backend and front end, although I don't think that'll be too big a problem for me. Okay. We've removed the yarn.locks. This yarn should still work just fine. Oh, it's using PNP, which is... So there isn't even a node modules directory here based on how the latest versions of yarn work, which you could see why it would be absolutely problematic if you were using some packages out there that absolutely needed or depended upon node modules being in the same level or directory. So Yarn does have some features that allow you to kind of turn back on node modules, so you have them in the same folder here. But you know what? Let's see how it goes. Who cares, right? If it works, it works. So here I had my servers up. And now let me try and run them again. Let's reset this just because it's acting weird. Yarn dev this. If it doesn't work, then I'm just gonna give up, I think. Seems to have run. Vue server seems to be up. Vite seems to be up. Okay, and let's localhost. That is loading, but I actually don't have a slash route. I do have a post route, which is now loading all my posts. All this is working. New post, LOL. If I submit this, nothing shows up here because it's on the first page. There it is. Let me click into it. And I have some duplicate stuff here, which I need to delete. But essentially deleting here works. Editing here, LOL. I ate a burrito. I need to update the world. And delete. This is serious business. Your post has been deleted. Click OK to go to post. That's a nice interface. Okay, cool. I can't scroll here, which is odd. I think that just might be a bug based on... Okay, that's fine. Okay, I'm happy with that. I think if the monorepo causes any issues, we'll deal with it as they come. So, okay, let me just let's take a look quickly at... oh wow, PNP. Those files weren't there the last time we took a look at this. And I don't want to load them up because I feel like they'll just be large files. I wonder if I'm supposed to add them. I'm just gonna add everything to source and see how it goes. And if PNP gives me any issues, I will then just delete it and configure to use node modules. Okay, let's go. Add those, add these, and then I will just... oh, these were already staged, of course. Add all of these, and then it's just a plain commit. Okay, and that's my commit. It's really large. What just happened here? Why does it say 502? I'm pretty sure I don't want to add yarn.cache. Oi. So it seems like it caches these. So I'm just gonna, I think I already committed. Oi. I don't want to. So they have an init, but they don't have like a get ignore, or in addition to a get ignore, which is quite frustrating. And here I assume I would see like, oh, here's all these zip files you added, like a loser. And even that is going to take like forever to scroll to. That's fine. You know what? That's fine. Okay, so what are we going to do here? I need to get reset soft, I think. Did I say sort? Come on, I think there's got to be a simpler. Combine a series of, I really thought, oops, those are 3 commits, that should just be 1. Okay, yeah, well, that's not what I want to do. So I think I should just be able to do this, and nope. Okay, so get reset soft. I guess then I'd have to do head this 1. And now those 502 files are in almost a non-commit mode. Didn't really realize this, so let me undo these. Okay, so now these are no longer, and let me add this to my get ignore, which I do have here. Maybe that's why I didn't get one from the yarn init. Possible. So let's see if that's true. Let me just go and make their la 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 la. And let's do a yarn init here. And it does have a get ignore. And it has all this. So because I had a get ignore, I got hit. Okay, so that's fine. Is there anything else here that... No, nothing else here seems ridiculous. So, okay. That's why. So that experience, if I had come to a new project, that would not have happened. So that's fine. Let me get into my get ignore here, and let's just open up la 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 la, and get into that get ignore, and just copy these things here. So it seems like it's saying, oh, ignore everything in yarn star except patches, plugins, releases, SDKs, and versions. Or is that not what it's saying? It's saying don't do these. Swap the comments on the front lines if you don't wish to use a zero install document here. So I'm actually not sure what this that does. Is this saying hey cache yarn.cache? Well, let's find out. So if I copy this and paste it here, I get all these. And now if I'm out here and I do a GST, yarn.cache is untracked. So what? So you want me to commit these 50 megs my codifying into my repo? This is what you want? Because look, you know. So let me undo everything. So let me just, as if this was, it wasn't. Nothing was staged. Okay, so we got these unstaged files of modified get ignore, and these are all new files. And let's see what it's encouraging us to add. Actually, I can just, if I just did this, does that work? Nope. Okay. Okay, these files, but this .yarn thing here, it's gonna, so if I do git add .yarn, that, like, it's gonna do releases, it's gonna do cache, which I don't want. It's gonna do cache, which I don't want. Okay. All right, let me undo that again. At least now I know what the parameters here are, and I'm more familiar with kind of a default. I have used Yarn workspaces, Yarn 2 workspaces, but I had turned on the node modules for that, and I had turned on no hosting for that, or disabled hosting for that. And so this is new to me at this moment. So let's get back into git ignore and go, yeah, no. Okay, comment that out. And then swap the comments if you don't wish to use zero install. So I guess I do this. And then yarn releases. So now those cache files no longer show up here. The PNP files don't show up either. And that's because I literally just added them to my git ignore. Right. Okay, that makes sense. And I don't know why that makes sense. But here we are. Okay, let's get back to here and let's recommit. Okay, so all of this is good. This as well. Convert to monorepo with yarn 3 workspaces. Okay, there we go. All right. Allegedly converted. Let's go into shared here. Let's yarn init here. And it seems like it's like, hey, I'm ready with this new yarn 3 init. And so it's got this bare bones package and a readme. Let's see what else it gave me. I think it knows that it's in a monorepo. Okay, that's fine. And what I want is to add that here as shared, and yarn this, see what difference it does. It should just, so there's a yarn.lock modification. And let's take a look at that. And it's really just adding the definition of the workspace. Version 000 it assumes, because there's no version defined there. But if I did go back and at workspace, that also is a version 000 use local. Fascinating. Okay. All of that is fine by me. And I'm just curious how files would work in a shared repo. And I'm not quite sure how would the tsconfig work and all of that, because I do need to create like a proper thing. So I wonder what happens if I just pop into here and I do a yarn install -d TypeScript, for example. Yarn add, what am I doing? Okay, I mean, did something here. And it was giving me this error. Doesn't provide types node requested by TS node. That's interesting. That's great, actually. If I take a quick look here, so it's added dev dependencies TypeScript here. 474. Let's go back here into our yarn.lock and search for TypeScript at 4. No, that's not how that works. TypeScript at. If I search for 4.7.4, here I see it. Here, that's useless. 4.7/.4. There you are. And there's TypeScript. So there's 2 TypeScripts here. One is 454 and one is 474. 474 presumably the latest one I added. And 454 also references, actually. So there's not 2 different versions of TypeScript. There's one version of TypeScript, and the one that wants 454 is still getting 474. Cool. Who wants 454? Frontend? Probably because that's what the Vue template came with. Okay, good to know. Cool. But you're still getting 474. It so happens. And then I guess if I was to take a look at the diff here, I should see nothing because I already have 474. Interestingly enough. So this changed here. So the dependencies were added. That was not here before. But I'm sorry about the pauses. I'm just processing all of this. Yeah, but we don't get a diff for TypeScript because TypeScript was already there, used by some package within this monorepo. So that's kind of a nice addition, which is they're sharing that. So I guess there is not just hoisting per se. There's just these invisible PNP packages somewhere. Maybe, yeah, I don't know where. Okay, no problem. And it's a shame because I don't really recall how to, do the whole TypeScript business. So let me look at this package, and I'm probably going to copy my TS config. I don't know if I need a TS node or nodemon in that repo because there's nothing to run in that repo right now. It'll just be shared TS files. And really, there's nothing else that needs. So it's super light. And then I got shared. And I probably want to copy this and paste it here. And then I have this really ridiculous thing because this JSON file is being linted. So it's going to be really difficult to see, but I don't think I had anything unique in this file. I'm just taking a look here. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem like I modified anything based on the default. So this should be fine for a TS config. I could share them, but I think this is fine for now. This one will also have its own TS config as well. Okay, all right. Where am I? Okay, so we have our working app again. It has now we've converted monorepo. So the files that I did want to move into a shared repo were, okay, that's interesting. So I guess I should have a source as I do in everything here. And maybe I can say something like, well, initially I could just have a test.ts to see how things work. Not a big fan of this. What is this? Okay, so what if I just had an export function add x, y? I want to see if I can just use this function both in the front end and the back end, maybe. It will return x plus y. So the function does not lie. Let's add types and make this happy. Okay, there we go. How would I import this, and how would it even know to be imported? I actually don't know either. So let's take a look. Let's get into maybe let's start with main.ts, right? Let's just use a simple, if I go add 1, 2, 3, whatever. Let me try and use complete or code actions, and those are not going to find anything here. Not a big fan of this either. I cannot find module or its corresponding type declarations. Is this because there are no node modules? And this is happening probably because I need to indicate in my packages here that I want the shared thing to come through. So I wonder how that is done. So let me actually name this. So for example, if I say something like at tRPC -test/shared, so it's kind of, you know, not just shared. And I wonder if I can just do it. So this blog post about the monorepo, conveniently, so we have a server and a UI. Look at that, beautiful. And I wonder if it will tell us yarn workspace server add express. So that's just adding express as regular. But I don't see any indication here of how you would use code from the server and the UI or vice versa, I guess. In this particular monorepo, there's no shared code. So that's not very helpful. Simple monorepo. Migrating our monorepo to Yarn 2. Scaling out Java monorepos. And oops, okay. This is fork from blah, blah. So this is Yarn v2. And packages, you have a common, okay? So I would expect common to just be, you know, okay, common, great. And then maybe server uses common. So I expect to see common in here. And that's how I did read this. The workspace star was in Yarn's page here. If I search for :star, I recall seeing this. Interesting. Very, very interesting. But it doesn't, like, is there like a yarn add I can use to, so that it's automatically determined? Okay, I mean, I guess let's try it out and then let's see. But this is just nice to be able to quickly see. Okay, let's see. So I've called it tRPC-test. I'm going to get rid of this for now and get back out here. And so I want in my front end, I want to do yarn add tRPC-test/shared. Will it do it? Does it know? So it didn't fail, which is positive. And and it added it. So it did know. Okay, that's cool. I was expecting some, you know, like, hey, tRPC test is not a published package and you cannot add it. But it seems to do the right thing right off the bat. So now, if I jump back into here and go into main.ts and use add, will it give me autocomplete? Or a code action to say, hey, did you want add from, you know, this this repo? So that's not very clear. Can I just import it anyway manually and deal with it? So if I say add, you know, from at tRPC test, so the module shows up, so it recognizes that. There's no index here, so I guess that's why. But can I just do /test? Is that right? Can I do that? I cannot. I cannot. That's okay. And this says, hey, cannot find this or its corresponding type declarations as well. Okay. I'm gonna jump in here and my go-to definitions don't work here. Okay, no problem. No problem for now. Let's see if it works, even though, so let me just actually use it in the post page. That won't work either, so. And I saw some error flash down here, but let's not worry about that right now. Can I simply say, okay, yeah, let me import it first, and I can say const total equal to add 4 and 5, and we'll output total right up top, so there is no ambiguity. Was not expecting that. Total. Okay. Fail to load plugin TypeScript ESLint. Cannot find module. So I think this is what I was talking about earlier, where there are a lot of tooling and so not just your actual repo's code itself needs node modules to be there. A lot of tooling depends on sort of the directory structure and the node modules to be there. And so that's why I'm getting these errors. Let's see if the code runs either way. Total has already been declared. That's what I did fear that. Total add, let's call it. And let's get in here and call it total add. Failed to resolve entry for package. The package. So this makes sense because I don't have like an index dot whatever. So given that that failed, let me see if I could do something like this anyway. And it does work. So I can go into the details here. So now let's get into test.ts and let's create a index. But because it's in source, I don't know if I'll directly be able to access it. What is this? Okay. I should be able to say something like import or export star /test. No, that's not what I wanted. Come on. Test.ts. And again, none of my formatting or anything will work. And what's the error here? Extension not needed. Yes, thank you. Okay, that at least works. Okay, so now, can I do this? Seems like I can. Can I do this? Seems like I cannot. And there might be a way to define that in package.json to be like, hey, here's the main file. Although I'm not entirely sure about that. I wonder if this sample repo has any indications. So there's a main, but it's the compiled one. I mean, so they're using tsnode.ts, but the main indication here is this. What would it be in common? Also common.js. And in here it's common.ts. And here they're exporting deferred promise and add. I think a lot of these examples have add as as a default export. So let's see how it's being imported here. A simple add from @packages common. Because, so I want to see a couple of things here. There's a base TS config. And then just a source dist common stuff here. And then a plain packagization with a main. Interesting. There's a .dist here, although there's no dist here or anywhere, and there isn't like a, you know, so common is the kind of the exported package. I am a little confused, I won't lie. And then server here. You know, .dist, blah, blah, blah. And then up here, there's a base TS config. Oh, that's interesting. Look at that. Look at what just GitHub does, how it deals with improper JSON. I'm trying to see if there's any indication if you're in this TS config about the packages that exist and so forth. I'm just seeing generic default. So no real indication here about like, yeah, some kind of shared modules or this and that. Seems pretty plain, although I might have missed it in the sea of red distractions. And the package here defines different workspaces. Okay, cool, no problem. Some, you know, top level dev dependencies. I wonder if these are shared across the board. And then a main that's TS. I wonder if I can do that. But I am a bit curious. So here in package.json, we're importing common. Let's see how we're using common, if at all. Straight up from packages/common as if it was like top level. So maybe it's just if I define some kind of a main file, it'll know the difference between TS and JS and all of that. Okay, I don't know. I'm hesitating. Let's go. Because I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Because like this .dist doesn't even exist. So I would do what? Index.js? This makes no sense to me. Okay, let's go into our posts page view, and okay, I have this ad. So you're telling me this is gonna work? Yeah, I don't believe it. Maybe I need to restart. So I'm just gonna, you know, QA exit nvim. I didn't think I was in nvim. Yeah, it doesn't like it. It's like, hey, this is no good. What are you talking about? It says. Geez, ain't no such thing. So what's the real indicator here? So just kind of reading through this, it seems very much like That's the only difference, right? We don't have any, like, none of this matters, none of this other stuff matters. This is the only indication of what file I should be using. There's no .dist anywhere here. Or any definition files. And presumably this would work right out of the gate. So I don't see it. What am I getting wrong? Trying to see here. So this gets imports example, and there it is. How does that work? How does it know what the main index file is? Ah, okay. No. I would have thought there would be some file here maybe that then references the stuff inside, but this does not seem to be the case. Although I might be able to get away with it. Maybe. Let's see. If I was to move this index.ts, so yeah, and it can now refer to source, right? So that's what we're saying here. And I don't think I need a main or whatever. So now if I go into here, it doesn't like it still. Let me just restart just in case. Still doesn't like it. Still says, hey, don't know what you're talking about. Do I need to say it's a TS file? Maybe. Okay, so I'm not beyond that. Shared package. Can I just say, hey, it's my index.ts. Like, deal with it. Maybe. I think just, okay, I think that's it. Wow. Why? Okay, I mean, I don't get it. I mean, I understand how it works. I understand why, but I guess I don't understand from the example that I saw. But now I'm kind of building a mental model of what's happening here. So the main indicates to an external packages where to look, but I can dig into the /source/ whatever. So here in this case now, on the posts page, I'm getting add from shared. I think when there's no jump to definition, unfortunately. Probably because, again, the node modules. So let me get to that in a second. But it works. And then this would work as well. So I can get it straight from test. And I can get it straight from this. Okay, cool. So now I have a way of indicating a shared repo within this monorepo and getting information from it, or getting functions from it, and importing stuff from it. Cool. What do I want? What do I want now? I want proper language server capabilities to be earnest. So if I go back into main.ts, wait for my JavaScript, my language server initiation to complete, I'm getting these, and I do not want these. And for example, if I did something like add 1.2, and then I use code actions, I want there to be like, oh, import this from this shared repo that we know you have. And I think, I'm not 100% sure, I think that's not working because there's no node modules, because Yarn has gotten rid of them. So if I do yarn2 node modules, PNP, this plug and play business, I'm just trying to scan this to see if there's some obvious config that it will show me. It is not. This is the only config that it had. Where is it? That's this. PNP mode loose. Okay, so here we go. Can I just search for node modules and it'll be like, hey, here's how you do it? Okay, node linker PNP. Defines what linker should be used for installing node packages, useful to enable node modules plugin. One of this, and this is the default, presumably. Let's see if node modules is mentioned anywhere else. It is not. I'm not sure. So this is the no hosting. I don't know what the options are here. What are the other hosting options? These docs are really not very scannable. I will tell you that. But, you know, they're here. Node linker. So I think I need this, and I think I need it to refer node modules. So let's do that. Ooh, I think hidden files are excluded from my Finder here. So that's fine. Let's use yarn here. Get that in here. And node dash modules. So now my expectation is if I go out here and do yarn, I will get node modules in some folder. Okay, interestingly, I have node modules here, but I don't think they're being used anywhere. So let me just get rid of those. And my backend doesn't have any node modules already. What? And here we are. So let's yarn this up again. It's taking a sweet second here. Let's yarn again, and this should be faster. And now I have a node modules folder with all of these. And my backend here is a symlink. I think. View template. That seems like a symlink, maybe. Let's just confirm that. And it is. Because that's what because I used my my template. That's what it's called. That's what the name is in the package.json for the front end. That's fine. Let's just scan this quickly to see what other symlinks there are, or links there are, backend to backend. I'm not seeing anything for my shared repo. Why? I would have assumed if I scanned this very quickly, I would have seen something. So let's just see if there's any ats in here. So there are ats in here, at tRPC test. Okay, so that doesn't seem like a symlink. Maybe inside here, there's a folder that is symlinked. So let's try that. That makes sense. And that's how it's stored. Cool. All right. Now I know. I wonder if this is all good and dandy, because there's no node modules here. There's no node modules here. There are node modules here, and let's see if that's good enough for my main.ts to pick up, or my TS server. So the language server has loaded, and let's see if I can go to definition here, and I can. So as long as the node modules are somewhere in the path. Cool. Let's try out add, and let's see if, okay, so the formatting works. So ESLint works. Good. And oh, beautiful. Look at this. Just what I wanted. So now it knows exactly where to get it from the repo. Cool. Let's just make sure that this works in our Vue files here. So for example, if I didn't have this, it says, hey, there's an error here. It does not have any code actions here. Why? Does that work? Yeah, formatting works. So that semicolon came in. But it seems like in my Vue TypeScript, this does not work. Unfortunate. So if I plug this back in, go to definition does work here. If I go here, it's going to that index file. That makes perfect sense. Go to definition works here as well. But if this isn't here, then my code actions don't indicate. Oh, they are now. What? Why? Okay. Sorry, if I just save and quit everything, come back in. I know I'm going through this whole cycles of like a bunch of different tests here, but I'm just trying to quickly eliminate. So now I'm not getting any code actions. I'm getting code actions, but nothing that says import this from this, you know, thing. But once I went into this definition or this definition here, come out and get my code action, it says import from here, and it's path based. So that's very interesting as well. I wonder if this will just work. No such file or directory, so it's expecting a file. It probably just needs a restart. So that does work. Yeah. So this works, and I know that you know, tRPC-test/ this works as well. And the go to definition works. All this works. Perfect. And if I go into main.ts, which is still front end, and if I did do something like add, it says, hey, there's a function called add, and I can, you know, do that. And all this works. And it's automatically added it with the proper name. So this isn't a relative directory path, although both of those seem to work just fine. Okay, that's interesting. I don't know why that is. I don't know why the Vue files by default don't get the proper code actions. Let's remove that. Load up code actions works. Let me save this. Come back in. TS server's loading here. I don't know why that's really okay. And it works right from a new load in my main.ts. Does not work in my Vue file. So maybe something for me to look into. Not thrilled about that. I mean, it works great in the .ts files. So I am thrilled about that. I'm not thrilled about how it doesn't work on the Vue files. Okay, I mean, no worries. So it seems like we have some kind of a shared folder here. What I want to do is try and define the Zod definition. So what I'll do is I'll end up just refactoring one little bit, and then I'll wrap up. And the bit I want to refactor is, for example, in my posts page, I have the Zod item schema, or is post schema. I'm using the same thing copy pasted in my post page. And then I have something similar in my post.ts model here. And what I want to do is I want to import this all from the same shared repo, both in my backend and my front end. And maybe just create some kind of a directory structure for that as well. So here I might add something like Zods. Could also be schemas, which is much nicer. Schemas, and you know, maybe this is post.ts. And so there's some schema definition here that's shared. And here I can do something like, yeah, you know what? I want to export a default one. And this can just be something like this. Cannot find Z, and it does also not want to. I think it needs to be something, right? So I don't think I can just do that. Const. I need to give it a name. It has to have a name. No, the default thing doesn't need to have a name. But that's okay, whatever. Schema, we'll call it for now. Or this could just be called post schema. My auto formatting doesn't work here in my shared because I don't have ESLint in the shared one. That's fine. That's fine. It's not fine. So let me just copy the backend ESLint. Do I not have an ESLint in the backend? I only have ESLint on the front end? What? Okay, that's fine. Also, ignoring that for now. So let's just do something like this. Let's get that here and export default post schema. Cannot find Z. That makes sense because I don't have Zod installed on my in my shared folder. So that's fine. Let me go into here and yarn add Zod. And then I should be, let me see if code actions will detect anything. Yes, they do. Fantastic. Okay, so now I am exporting post schema from here in my shared repo or my shared package. And here I want to do something like post schema. I wonder if it'll just find it. It won't find it here. Good, because I haven't added this to my workspace. So let me do that now. So I'm in the backend workspace, yarn add, and I can say add tRPC-test/shared. And if I did a diff of the package, there it is. Okay, so now let's just run the server again. And if I come back here, I would expect, well, I don't know if I'd expect anything really. I would hope that this would find it. I'm not seeing any code actions available here. I should be able to do something like import post schema from, at tRPC, tRPC-test-shared as a module. That won't work. So I need to say source schemas/post. That I think should work. And I would have hoped it would have found it, but it didn't. Okay, no problem. Let's do that for now. Let's actually just copy this up here. And the item schema here is post schema. So another place where post is relevant, right? So post, and I wonder, so the idea is that this later on will actually be, all of these will be passed in. So this file doesn't really need to know about post. It just knows the item is passed in. So that's fine. I'm happy with that. And then this one was the post page. So let's go to the post page and do something similar. So let's copy this and paste it here and just get rid of this. And this can be post schema as well. And let's see if everything is happy. So this here already is not. Cannot find name. Oh no, I did find it. So initially I couldn't find the name post schema because I'd shared, I saved the file without importing. So this all does seem to work, right? Because it's getting this title and this body from the schema. So for example, if I was to remove body from the schema, I would see this gone and this gone. I wonder if, because I'm using the shared monorepo import, I wonder if hot module reloading works from code modified in the shared repo. Let's find out. So if I go into schema post and I remove body, what would be absolutely delightful is if I go back to my browser now, that body is gone. It wasn't. I had to refresh. So if I save this, go back here, hot module reloading is not active here, but on a refresh, I get it. Okay, so I just want to see here if in the output there's some indication of, you know, some hot module reloading happening. So removing body from here, come back. It says it's hot updated these files, but I don't see any updates here. I refresh and there's the update. So maybe that's something I can look into next time as well to see if there's any way to hot module reload via Vite or Vue, and it just works. Maybe there's some config I have to say, hey, like this stuff is actually, you know, wash these files or whatever. I shouldn't have to, right? I would just expect that if there's an import and things are changing, that it would do that. But let's take a look at files that have changed. So I've added a shared folder with a test add function, which is being used here. I had to use node linker to use node modules. So we couldn't use the plugin play system that yarn2/3 has. We have to use node modules for our ESLint to work and all those things. So so potentially it's not just your packages that might expect node modules to be on the file system, but definitely ESLint and some other tooling, language servers and so forth are expecting those to be on the file system. Okay, this is great. We just added the shared package to our package.json for the backend. So we're getting the shared package in our backend package. Great. And here just refactored schema out into post schema out into here. But also I should just be able to, this doesn't work. For example, oops. This doesn't work. Because it'll be like, hey, so let me see what the error is. Has no default export. That makes sense, but also has no other kind of import. It doesn't have a default import, but also doesn't export post schema non-defaultly as well. So I'm happy with this for now. No big deal. This works just fine. But I'll probably refactor this later on so that this kind of thing does work, so that the index file here has that. I wonder how that would look if I wanted to do that now. Source schemas / post. Oops, I didn't want all that. Source schemas / post. Yeah, what am I doing? Post, that's all I wanted. So even though this is, see, this here is not a default export. This here is a default export. So I expect this to not work if I just go back here and, you know, I want something like this. Like, yeah, of course, this would not work. So I actually don't know if there's a way to be like, hey, you're getting, you know, post schema from here. I should probably, maybe if I do post schema, instead of star. Would that work? No. That does not like it at all. So I'd have to do something like import and then do something like export post schema. Export post schema. Something like that. And now if I go back to my post model, I would expect something like this to work. But I guess not. Yeah, that makes sense. So let's see if that would work. Okay, I mean, I'm not thrilled by this. It would just be nice to go something like that or some other way, but that's fine for now as well. That's a pain. Okay, but you know, this is not the end of the world. Okay. Oops, what are the date changes here? Let's just reset. There don't seem to be much here. This file just got regenerated and it's just up here, some of the documentation. We added the workspace to our front end. And then here we have this add. I don't really actually want this, so let me just get rid of that. And here I can do this now. And that works. That's beautiful. Now we have that refactored. And then same thing from the posts page. Let me just actually diff this up and replace this. I don't want to add. Okay, I just added a post schema and that works. Perfect. And again, later on, these three things will just be passed into this component. So this component itself will have no idea that it's about a post. It could be about anything. And then everything else is determined by the shape. And then here we added shared. Cool. That's really it. Here, yeah, so we added shared and we added tRPC workspace, yes. tRPC test and Zod. We added a new, we didn't add a new version of Zod. All those versions are 3.18, so any reference to 3.17.10, 3.17.3, and 3.18.0 is 3.18.0. Okay, but if these were hard restrictions, for example, if something was like this would be a separate block on its own with that. Okay, I'm happy with this. I've created a monorepo. I created a shared package, and my existing packages are now importing from shared code from that shared package. So part of the idea will be that, yes, shared schemas, that here I'll have a bunch of different schemas, you know, for post, for a bunch of other models they'll have the schemas defined here. And so I do have a default schema here, but potentially, you know, I might have like a post form schema. And that might just be used for forms schema. That might just be used for forms, and this might be used for the backend database, for example. Because those might want to be slightly different based on what you want to do, or there might be slight variations. I also want maybe from here for there to be some indication. So for example, both of these are just text fields. This should actually be a test area. But I don't have any real place to define that. And maybe this can do that, right? So I have an export default, but I can also export, you know, export some const, which is like, you know, post form. So let's just say that. Fields. And maybe here I can define that body should be a text area. And then this can be passed into the component, which will know, oh, your body, I need to give your text area instead of just a text thing. And that way we can configure by default what kind of form inputs we want for our fields. That'll be super cool. Looking forward to that. Okay. Yeah, that's it. I'll just commit this off stream and we're good to go. All right. Awesome. That went pretty well, except for one thing, which is that code actions for imports did not work in the Vue files. Very frustrating. I know that they should. So there's some kind of weirdness going on there. We'll figure that out later. Cool. All right. Until next time.